Happy Sunday and welcome back. We are on episode 10 of Tea Time with FlowEtry, and today we'll be covering just a few wrist mobilization exercises that you can do just to help with any wrist soreness that all of us tend to face when dealing with either Pilates or lifting, yoga, cycling, gripping the handlebars for extended periods of time. Just a few movements that we can incorporate to alleviate some of that tension and improve the strength in our muscles. Okay. But before that, I wanted to share this story revolving around self-love and just appreciating where you are in life right now. Today's story was inspired by the top that I'm wearing today. So this particular top, I got it from a shop in London, got it online over a year ago. And when I received it, it looked like everything online. Ladies, you know what I'm talking about. It looked like everything. And when I got it, my body was not doing it justice. Like all the hopes and dreams were just Thanos snapped into oblivion once I put it on. Things were just not looking the way I wanted them to look. And y'all know what I'm saying. And so, I'm gonna keep it. This will be motivation for me to keep doing dreaded cardio. Y'all know I hate cardio. And in a month or so, it's gonna just fit exactly the way I want it to fit. But the thing is, that little voice in my head, the one that's always just like nitpicking and pointing out all your flaws and telling me all the reasons why I cannot wear this top and I don't look good enough, it just prevented me from wearing the damn top. And so this shirt has been in my closet since back in Houston, even well before that, and I just never wore it until today, when we went to this late breakfast and I finally wore it for the first time. And so I was in the closet just looking at it and I was like, you know what? Let me just try it on. Let me just see how I look in it now. And so I put it on and I didn't feel bad. So I went into the bathroom and I was like, hey, Derek, what do you think? And he was like, oh yeah. But when I looked at myself in the mirror, I wanted to have that reaction, but that little voice was starting to creep back in, just no, not yet, and maybe like another 5 pounds. And so, you know what I did? I just changed my mindset and I started telling myself in my head, all the things that I loved about my body and all the things that I appreciated about how I looked today and the capabilities of my body today. And when I tell you my whole mindset shifted, it went from to yes, bitch. And so I wore the damn top and I love it. So I say all that to say it's wonderful to have a plan for the future and to have your goals and ambitions, but don't let fear stop you from appreciating exactly who and what you have today. Let's head inside and I'm going to show you a few poses that you can incorporate pre-workout, during your workout, or intra-workout whenever you start feeling some stiff and tightness or just some uncomfortable pain in the wrist. Or you can include these poses after your workout to aid in your recovery. These poses are also good if you have a desk job or just spend a lot of time at your computer. Gamers, hey, it works for everyone. Today we are drinking Tea Guys. It's a local brand that I found at the grocery store, but if you don't have that brand in your grocery store, this one is a vanilla chai. So pretty good, has a nice cinnamon kind of nutmeg spice to it. So if you're into that, definitely give it a try. All right, y'all, grab your Entanglement free tea. Let's get started. It's important to understand that the wrist is a complex joint that connects our hand to the forearm. And many times when I have clients that talk about experiencing wrist issues, maybe during class or during their lifting, they experience it in the carpal region. So the carpal region, it's a collection of bones, about 8 of them, small, little rectangular in size, and this connects to the forearm. Both the radius, which is the bigger long bone here, and then the ulnar bone on the outside, a smaller long bone in the forearm. If you don't have any equipment with you at all, some basic stretches that you can do, you can clasp your hands together like so, and you can start making these figure 8s with your wrists. You may hear a little crackling and popping. That's just fine as long as it's not painful. That's okay. Okay, so that's 1. Number 2, you can do that from the comfort of your chair, or you can do it upright as well. Just using your hands, you're gonna take one palm, press it against the top of your hand, and work on bending it back like so. Now, maybe, your hand doesn't start out going this far, maybe just doing it like that, and you already feel that tension here in the forearm. So maybe you just hold it here and slowly work on bending it back. And then likewise, placing your hands in prayer, yogis, you'll just work on bending the hand backwards as well. I'm gonna hold it for about between 5 and 30 seconds, depending on how much time you have. And you should feel like a nice little loosening here in the forearm. Many times when we experience wrist pain, it is in part the wrist, but it's also an indication of limited mobility in the forearm. So it's important that we stretch out our forearms as well and loosen up, any knots that we may have in the forearm. Number 3, if you have any of these little, I call them tension balls. I'm sure there's some fancier name for them, but whatever, little tension balls. Ideally, if it has a little bit of texture, that's great because that'll go beyond the superficial fascia in your body. But you can take this and this is level 1, you can roll it against your forearm and then move it up to your wrist as well, rolling it over the carpal area, right? Or if you can go near a wall, you can press. So like, let's imagine that my arm is pressed up against the wall. You're gonna put the little tension ball between your forearm and the wall, creating that tension there so it can really get deep into the muscle. And then just slide your arm up and down on the wall. Just like that. That's number 3. Number 4, if you're feeling a bit more stiffness here, you're gonna take your hands. So if you're on the floor, sorry, I didn't adjust the camera for the floor, but let's imagine you're facing the floor, palms down like this. Press it against the floor, just like that. So ideally on carpet. And you're just gonna press it like that and then ease up. So again, between 5 and 30 seconds, depending on how much time you have, press the tops of your hands against the floor and ease it up. So the last thing that I wanted to touch base on is that many times when we're experiencing wrist pain, it's also an indication of shoulder limited mobility and some stiffness or potential pain in the shoulders, delts and traps. So you'll always hear me say everything is connected. So usually if you're experiencing one issue in the body, if we do enough digging, we're going to realize, oh, okay, so it's actually because of this and connected to that. And, you know, if you're having hip problems, you're probably also experiencing stuff in the lower back, you know, so the wrist, definitely shoulder area and chest. There's most likely something going on with that too, which we'll dive into that on another video. But today, we just wanted to cover some extra exercises that you can incorporate to start building relief and increased mobility. And that is it. Thank you for joining me for episode 10. Please incorporate some of these movements into your training days and let me know in the comments, or as always, you can DM me. I do read everything, so let me know how that works out for you and if you do start feeling a positive difference, okay? Until we see each other again, let's bring our hands over heart center, sending out gratitude for a new day we were not promised. Namaste.